What if everything you've been chasing, love, wealth, peace, keeps slipping through your fingers not because you're cursed or unlucky or not good enough, but because you've been unknowingly violating laws you never knew existed? Not the laws of your country, not religious commandments, but deeper spiritual laws. Cosmic truths that don't care what language you speak or what God you worship. They were here before your name was spoken, and they'll remain long after. Most people go their entire lives unaware of these laws. They wonder why pain follows love, why failure comes after effort, why peace is so hard to hold on to. But the truth is brutal. They're trying to build a life without understanding the blueprint that governs it. You wouldn't build a house without gravity. Why build a soul without laws? It began for one man at rock bottom. His name was David, a father, a husband, a man who used to laugh loud and dream bigger. But then his business collapsed. His marriage broke. His friends disappeared. One night, sitting alone in the silence of an empty apartment, he muttered to no one, "What am I doing wrong?" And that's when he found it. Not a book, not a podcast, but a simple question in an old journal. What if life isn't happening to you, but through you? That single question dragged him down a rabbit hole that changed everything. He discovered 13 laws, laws that had always been there, shaping his reality while he blindly blamed fate. And once he began aligning with them, life didn't just change. He changed. The first law he met was the law of oneness, the idea that everything is connected, that you're not a separate being floating through life alone. You are part of everything, and everything is part of you. Every word you say, every thought you hold, every emotion you emit is like a stone thrown into a vast, invisible ocean. The ripples touch everything. That's why you feel someone's pain when they don't speak it. That's why your anger hurts more than just yourself. It's not them versus you. There is no them, just more of you in different forms. And the moment David stopped seeing enemies and started seeing mirrors, he began to heal. Then came the law of vibration. Everything is energy, even your thoughts, even your feelings. And energy vibrates. It either attracts more of itself or repels what you want most. You can't attract love while vibrating bitterness. You can't attract abundance while vibrating fear. David used to wake up dreading his future. He thought he was being realistic, but what he was doing was tuning his energy to disaster. And disaster answered. When he started deliberately changing his emotional state, choosing joy even when it made no logical sense, the universe responded. Not because he pretended, but because he shifted. Your feelings are not reactions. They are frequencies. They send signals, and those signals build your life. But that life won't change unless you understand the law of correspondence. As within, so without. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, not the other way around. David used to blame his wife for their distance. He thought, she's cold. She doesn't care. But when he sat in silence one morning, something whispered, "What part of you have you stopped caring for?" And it hit him. He hadn't loved himself in years. He expected connection, but gave himself shame. He wanted warmth, but carried guilt. Your world is a mirror, and it only reflects what you show it. That mirror responds powerfully to the law of attraction. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe. David once wrote, "I want to be wealthy 50 times a day." But deep inside, he believed he wasn't worthy of success. And the universe listened to his belief, not his words. Once he began seeing himself as someone who deserved to receive, things began to arrive. Not magically, but magnetically. Like attracts like. If you want more, become more. If you want different, be different. But thinking, feeling, and believing are not enough. The law of inspired action demands motion. Not just any action, but action that feels aligned. Action that comes from the soul, not the ego. David used to chase money in desperation. Cold emails, false promises, forced conversations. But when he stopped and asked, "What feels right?" he began writing again, something he hadn't done in decades. His words touched people. Clients found him. Money followed. When your action is born from truth, it carries power. When it's born from fear, it repels what you chase. Then he met the law of transmutation of energy. Energy cannot be destroyed, only changed. Your sadness isn't a dead weight. It's unexpressed light. Your anger isn't poison. It's energy trying to move. David stopped trying to get over things. He started transforming them. He cried when he needed to. He danced when he felt numb. He turned his pain into poems. That energy, once dark and heavy, became creation. What once made him feel broken became the fuel for something beautiful. This law revealed why some people use their pain to build empires, forging strength and meaning out of what tried to destroy them, while others unknowingly let the same pain become their prison. It wasn't about escaping emotions anymore. It was about alchemizing them. The law of cause and effect reminded him, nothing happens without a reason, and the reason is usually you, not in blame, but in ownership. You reap what you sow, and most people are sowing fear, then praying for peace. David used to say, "Why does this keep happening to me?" But he never asked, "What am I creating?" That question changed everything. He realized his thoughts, words, and actions were planting seeds in the invisible soil of the universe. And whether he was aware of it or not, those seeds would grow. You can't wish for love while feeding bitterness. You can't beg for light while living in shadow. Eventually, the harvest comes, not as punishment, but as a mirror. The law of compensation is its sister. It says you will be rewarded in proportion to the value you bring, not just in money, in love, in healing, in impact. When David began giving, without fear, without expectation, the universe began giving back. The more he poured into others, the more he received. He learned that abundance doesn't start with accumulation. It starts with generosity. You don't attract blessings by chasing them. You attract them by becoming one. The moment he gave without needing anything in return, something opened. Life, it seemed, had been waiting for him to stop grasping and start serving. And yet, he still struggled with judgment, comparison, shame, until he understood the law of relativity. Nothing is good or bad until you compare it. Your worst day might be someone's miracle. Your failure might be the start of someone else's dream. David used to hate himself for not making more money by 40. But then he met a homeless man who said, "You have shoes and a voice. You're already rich." That sentence echoed louder than any motivational quote ever had. It shook the scale he measured his life by. He began to realize that pain often comes not from lack, but from perspective. When he changed how he looked at his life changed. That's when he encountered the law of polarity. Everything has an opposite, and both sides exist to teach. Light needs dark. Strength needs struggle. Success needs failure. You can't eliminate sadness, but you can let it teach you to cherish joy. David once thought heartbreak was his enemy, but now he sees, without it, he'd never have awakened. What broke him also rebuilt him. The fire that burned down his old self became the same fire that warmed his new one. He finally understood that growth isn't neat. It's raw. It's painful, but it's necessary. The deepest pain always hides your brightest potential. You don't grow in the sunlight. You grow in the storms. The law of rhythm taught him patience. That life moves in cycles. Like waves, like seasons. There are times to plant, times to rest, times to lose, times to rise. The universe breathes, and so must you. David used to panic when things went wrong. Now he understands it's just the valley before the next peak. Loss doesn't mean the end. It's just part of the rhythm. You don't fight the beat of life. You find your flow within it. And when you do, even the hardest moments begin to feel like music, a strange, sacred melody guiding you home. And finally, the law of gender. Not male or female, but masculine and feminine energy within us all. Action and stillness. Logic and intuition. Doing and being. David had ignored his feminine side for years. Always grinding, always hustling. But his healing began when he allowed softness, when he listened to silence, when he let his heart speak. Power isn't found in extremes. It's born in balance. These 13 laws were never meant to be secrets, but the world forgot, or maybe it remembered and chose not to tell you. Because once you understand them, no one can control you again. Not fear, not society, not your past, not even your own doubt. So now you know, and that knowledge can't be undone. If this awakens something inside you, a question, a spark, a truth you can't unsee, then don't let it fade. Let it pull you deeper. Because the laws haven't just been hidden from you. They've been hidden in you all along. And if this resonated, tell me. Comment below which law hit you hardest. Share this with someone who needs it. And if you're ready to explore more truths the world forgot to teach, subscribe. Your soul is trying to remember. Let it.